Lost books are artifacts that can sometimes be found by hoeing up the randomly generating artifact spots or worm spots that spawn around the map. You also have a small chance to get them from treasure chests, around 4%. There is a total of 20 of them. I read them all and will give you a quick rundown of all of them. Also, fun fact, if everyone who's ever watched my videos subscribed, we'd be nearing 2 million subs. Currently, we're a little bit below that, so hit subscribe. Reveal at 20k. Book 1. Tips on farming. Give some general tips, like to use fertilizer to improve crop quality, and the fact that fruit trees take an entire season to grow, crops die at the end of seasons, and just so on. The second book is by Marnie, and gives you a general outline of things to do with animals. The third book is a guide to foraging, and gives tips like clearing areas so more foraging can spawn. They also give hints about seed packets. Book number 4 is a conversation between Tex and Gordy, and tells the player that over time, the more you fish, the better you get at fishing basically. Their story gets much more surprising later on though. Stick around for a dramatic reading featuring Therm. Book 5 talks about the mines, and is titled How Deep Do the Mines Go? It doesn't really answer the question straight up, but it gives a much cooler, much more mysterious answer, and describes how each area has a distinct theme. Book 6 hints that if you level up hearts with villagers, they will send you gifts and items in the mail. Or bombs if you can. Book number 7 discusses the importance of scarecrows and how they can protect your crops from crows. They also mention the existence of rare crows, or just rare collectible scarecrows basically. I probably should have read this before playing my 100 Days of Stardew Valley, to be honest. Book 8 talks about the existence of star drops, which if you don't know, increase your energy level permanently. They don't directly tell you how to get them, but they hint that they exist and give some pretty cool hints. Book 9 talks about my favorite arcade game, Journey of the Prairie King. And hints that there might be a special reward for beating it. Just like you'll get a special reward for downloading Hero Wars via the link in the description or the pinned comment. Hero Wars is the sponsor of today's video and is an online role-playing action game with a variety of PvP and PvE game modes. I can fight against powerful bosses and experience the gripping storyline. I enjoy the campaign style. It kind of feels like a classic fantasy game. While I complete the campaign missions, I can collect cool loot and rewards and upgrade my champions. The game has more than 50 unique heroes, each one with unique abilities. You can combine and assemble different teams of heroes to battle in the arena or traverse the endless tower. But that's not all. You can create guilds, fight with other players, and join your friends to rise in the ranks together. Join the game now and get a super chest with a secret hero, as well as 62 emeralds and 30,000 gold. You can play the game on mobile devices or on your web browser. Scan the QR code on screen, or like I mentioned before, download it from the link in the pinned comment or the description. See you in game, and thanks again to Hero Wars for sponsoring this video. It also says that the protagonist is actually a real person in the game. Might be cool if we met them in later updates. Book 10 talks about diamond spawning, and is the first book on Loki by the very prolific author M. Jasper. Book 11 talks about how to make different things in the kegs, like beer and pale ale. This is pretty cool since it tells you how to make pale ale for Pam, and if you were in theory doing a no wiki run, it might be pretty cool since you wouldn't know how to get it normally. Book 12 is lore focused. I'm just gonna read it all out. The dwarves call themselves Smaluanu, which translates to sky people. An odd name for a group that lives deep underground, isn't it? Another mystery of the dwarves is the advanced technology that they supposedly possess. Evidence such as this had led me, despite the ridicule of my colleagues, to propose a new theory. I believe the dwarves are the remnants of a once advanced civilization whose interplanetary vehicle crashed on this planet long ago. I propose that this dwarvish spaceship bore down deep underground, and over time, the dwarves became adapted to their new underground environment. My colleagues ask, why didn't they come above ground and live on the surface? Perhaps their old planet had a thicker atmosphere that protected them from the stellar radiation, and they simply could not survive in our sunlight. That would explain why they only surface at night to take what they need from our houses. This is once again by M. Jasper, and I think it's a pretty cool theory, honestly. Maybe I'll make a follow-up video on the dwarves. That might be cool. Book 13 is a book discussing Yoba. If you don't know what Yoba is, it's basically the religion or like god of Stardew Valley, I guess. This is basically just a scripture on the religion. Pretty awesome poetry. Good job, CA. Book 14 helps the player figure out how to marry someone by telling them about the bouquets, about the old marinaire, etc. And now for book 15, which I just thought deserved its own reading, and that reading is provided by Therm. Go check out his channel if you aren't subscribed already.
Gordy, tell me your best fisherman story. Caught a lot of big fish in my time, and some that are very rare and difficult. But there was one that I struggled to catch for 3 days and 3 nights. I call this fish the Legend. He was a huge beast, and the harder I tugged on the line, the harder he tugged back. I let my guard down for a moment, and he snapped my boat in two. I've never fished since. Do you think anyone will ever catch him? If this person were a master at fishing and caught all of the rare fish first and made sure they ate the correct kind of food, then maybe. Above all, you've got to have respect for the water, son. Son? Do you mean your father? Yes, my boy.
Book 16 talks about crystallariums and how they can clone gems, basically. Book 17 is a spiritual successor to the smash hit series, The Fisherman, and gives guides on how to catch all of the legend fish, but basically says it in a cool way. I'm really digging this style of telling information that's not immediately obvious in the game, but in like a cool way and not just like the wiki reading it out. It's honestly really cool, I'm a fan. I wish people use these more, not the wiki, even though I love the wiki. Book 18 can only appear after you've seen the series of Krobus' cutscene and hints that the sewer exists, and of the bug cave. Book 19 is another lore-based one and talks about the lore of the goblins. We actually meet a goblin in the game at the Witch's Swamp, and apparently they're pretty chill once you get to know them. They also hint on how to get the goblin to move from the way in the Witch's Swamp, by telling you about void mayonnaise. For book 20, it may look like gibberish at first glance. However, but if you look at this handy image I constructed, which took way too long to make, you can see that the first letter in each word actually spells out the locations of each of the mysterious statues. The first sentence says Super Cucumber Town, the second one is Duck Mayo Saloon, and the third one is Strange Bun Toy Box. Thanks for checking out the video. See you guys later.